I hope my screen is visible loud and clear. Please type S for screen if that is also visible. Hi Nazir, Matthews, S for screen. Amazing. Mine, Radia, Nazir, Abdul, Mulli. Wow. Okay. So today, we were thinking of starting something in Excel because it's been roughly 1 year since we have not touched Excel with respect to our community learnings. So we thought, okay, let's put it on the YouTube and let everyone enjoy it. So what is the topic for today? If anyone remembers, what is the topic for today? Text functions, correct. And one request, guys, whenever you like something, please hit the like button in the chat so that more and more people will get to know about it. Subscribe the channel if you want to. If you feel that some value is being delivered, subscribe the channel also so that the upcoming sessions, whichever we will plan, you can always be notified about those things. Text functions. Yes, Matthew. So text functions, what is the role of text functions? I would like to know that part first. What is the role of text functions? What do they do in Excel? When do you use them? Come on. Data cleaning. Yes, that's correct. Data cleaning. What in data cleaning? What kind of functions do you know in the text functions? Left function, mid function. Yeah, that's correct. Sometimes to change the case, sometimes to split something, sometimes to join something, sometimes to extract something out of a bigger text where no calculation is needed. That's correct. Okay. So today I will be having I will be having, and there might be a little bit sync in the chat, Zoom chat, and YouTube chat and the Zoom. So I might be having some pauses in between. Okay. So let me share my screen again. I have planned some practice exercises for all of you. And I hope my Excel is visible to all of you. Okay. Type Excel in the chat once that is visible. Clear? So the first thing which we would like to do is a very, very simple exercise because unless we know the basics, we will not be able to use multiple basic functions to create or to solve a complex problem. So first we need to understand all of them in as an individual function. What do they do? Okay. Like here, our task is these are the names which are given to us, whoever has prepared it, or maybe we have downloaded it from some system. And we want the clean names over here. Now, those who can see it, can you tell me what are the challenges, what are the problems in this data set which we need to resolve? Okay. So first problem which I can see is that the spaces are there probably. The spaces are there probably. And just to understand, look at this word, Robert. Robert is a six letter word, right? But if I go for something known as length, okay, there's a function known as length. Very, very simple function. The function name is len. What does it do? It calculates the length of a text. How many characters are there in a particular cell? Okay. So when I say len, and if I select this cell and press enter, what does it say? It says 14 characters are there. What does it mean? Only 6 characters should be there in Robert, but currently we are having 14. So our first rule is all these names are having some extra spaces. Matthew, yes, it can be an issue of alignment also, but majorly it is the space issue which we are facing currently. So what function should I use? There is a function known as trim, and it's a very, very simple function. I go here and I type trim. The role of trim function, look at this helping text. It removes all the extra spaces from a particular text. Now, what is the meaning of extra? Extra means if there are two words, we need to have one space in between minimum, right? So that's not an extra space. But if it is having more than one space in between any words, then it is extra. If there is a space before any word, the first word, then it is extra. If there is any space after the ending word, then it is extra. So when I use trim function and I give this input of A5, and when I press enter, it gives me a nice name, John Smith. Now look at this. If I calculate the length of John Smith, LEN, here, it gives me 10. But before cleaning it, the length of this function, this particular text is 15. So there were 5 extra spaces in this text. I hope that's clear. So I will write all of this again. It's a simple function that's known as trim. Very, very important function if you are having these kind of impurities in your data. And why the extra spaces are there? Because space is the biggest key on your keyboard, and sometimes unknowingly you like type it. Okay. So trim of this cell, press enter, and then when you copy it down, it gives me all the clean names. So that's the first data cleaning function known as trim. Now let's go to the exercise number 2 and let us see what are the challenges over here. Guys, trim function was clear? Everyone? Yes or no? I can see there are only 2 likes as of now in the chat. If you are enjoying, if you are finding a value, then please hit the like button so that others can also be notified about it. Trim functions is clear. Okay. Okay. Now, here there is a little bit of extra challenge. Look at this. The expected result which we want is like this. The expected result which we want is like this, but currently it is like this. One problem which we can see is space. So I can go here equal trim and then this cell and press enter. And when I copy it down, the space issue is resolved, but currently are the names looking correct? Probably no, because the case of different letters at different positions in the text or in the name is not correct. So what is the solution for that? So there are certain text functions which can help us to like modify the case of the word or the letters. Okay. So what would be that formula? So trim is responsible for only removing the space. But after that, what we can do? We can take this and give it to another function. So let's say if we want a result like this, so I will say proper. What is the role of proper function? The proper function takes the letters and it gives the first letter of each word in uppercase. So when I click on proper and B5, it gives me John with capital J and D capital for the next or the surname, the full name. Okay. So we are actually using 2 functions, first to get rid of the space and then to get rid of the case, which was uneven. Now in this case, it was proper case. Like mostly we write the names like this. The first letter of each word should be uppercase. Now, sometimes it may be possible that we are expecting a result like this. Everything should be upper. Everything should be uppercase. So we can do it separately like this. In place of proper, I can do upper and enter. And you can see the result. In place of proper, now we are getting the uppercase. Similarly, there is one more function known as lower. If you want everything small, then you can use lower function also. So far, what we have covered trim function, we have covered proper, we have covered upper, And similarly, we can also go for lower functions, right? Correct. This will work for names or about sentence. Yes, it will work for anything. For the proper function, it is looking at the text. It doesn't know whether it is a name or it is a sentence. Okay. So it will work for anything. Let's say I type something like when Harry or Harry met Sally. Okay. Now upper will make it upper, but if I type it lower, it makes everything small case also. So it doesn't matter to it. What is the input? Okay, power, this Excel is treating the cell as a text only. Whatever is the content, if it is a alphabets kind of characters, then it will make it upper, lower, or proper depending on the function which is getting used. Clear? Okay, let's move to the next exercise. The pace is going good, guys. Are we moving fast or are we moving slow? What do you think? Let's move to the exercise 3. How can we download the files? The files can be downloaded. You might have seen the description. You can download it from there. Okay. And once you click on that link, you might be asked your name and email, and then it will get downloaded automatically so that you can practice with me. Okay. Now, till now, we were thinking of cleaning it in terms of the spaces or in terms of the uppercase, lowercase, and all. Now we have a challenge where our names are in two different cells. And first objective is to get the full name out of this first name and last name. Which function should we use? Tell me, which function shall we use in this case? Concatenate. Anidhi, concatenate is the correct function. Now, is there a simpler function? Trim cannot be used here. Yes, currently trim cannot be used, maybe later. But my first rule is whether this and this can be joined. Okay. Nazir is also mentioning one function. Okay. So first let me put it simple. Okay. The function name is ampersand, the symbol ampersand, and function. Okay. So when I type equal, what do I need? I need James and the bond, right? So James equal this cell, which is having James, and then and bond A5 and B5. So role of this function is it will combine them together. It will combine them together. Now probably you can see before the James we have a space, and after bond nothing is space. James S is followed by some spaces. So there is a problem of space in this. So what should we do? Now you can use your trim function. So if we go for trim over here and open the bracket, so trim and whatever function you have written earlier, which was responsible for combining the two values from the cells, I am applying trim on that result. I am applying trim on that result. And when I press enter over here, I get the proper James Bond. But now there is a challenge. The challenge is, look at the row number 7th, Tony Stark. There is no space there. There is no space. So some names were having extra spaces, and that extra space gave us good results. But some cells which were not having those extra spaces, okay, in the between, now that name is not correct. Okay, it will be difficult to read that name because of the separator in between that is missing. So what should we do? Here the formula was A5 and B5 should be combined. What I can do, before the B5, I can say double quote, space, and double quote, and one more and. So what I am saying, please combine A5 and space and B5. So whenever you want to insert any text or any character inside a formula, it has to be used in double quotes. So A5 and B5, in between that, we have used space also. So we are forcing space in between the two words or two parts of the names. Now, this will add extra space, but if something is having more than one, then our trim function will take care of it. Then our trim function will take care of it because it will keep only one space in between. Okay. So this is how our name is there. Now, one more small problem is there that the names, the case is not proper. It should be something like James Bond, but not every name is coming like that. So what can I do? I can apply on this result another function which we have seen in the previous exercise. That function is proper. Open the bracket, take the previous function, whatever we have written, and close the bracket at the end. And whenever you are using multiple functions within the same cells, they are generally called nested functions or nested formulas because one is sitting inside the another one. And in that scenario, these colors, different colors of the parentheses, brackets, they will help you to understand, okay, we started trim function bracket, so it is getting closed over here. And the last one, the outermost function, will always have the black color. So that will tell you, okay, now you can stop adding the brackets. Okay. When I press enter, nothing changes in the James Bond. But when I copy it down, it is giving me all proper names. Right. So it was a simple problem, but it was having multiple parts to it. First, combine it with a necessary space in between, and then remove the extra spaces, and then changing the case of the uh, name. I hope that's clear. Yes or no? Yes, flash fill is also possible. That's correct. But because flash fill, like we will discuss it maybe in some other session. But remember, guys, flash fill, text to columns, there are certain things in the Excel find and replace values. These are very easy to use, but they require your efforts, your actions all the time. If data changes, you will have to do the flash fill again. Formulas are always active. So given a choice, and if you feel that things can be dynamic, things will be changing again and again, then formulas are always better than those flash fills and other things. Okay. Now, how many of you can get this result? So from this name, from these two words, the first name and the last name, I am looking for creating the email of that particular employee, and the format is this. What should I do? I would look at your suggestions in the chat. And again, don't forget to keep hitting the like button and be interactive in the chat. Okay. So what would be the formula over here? And one thing which I would like to mention to everyone is that formulas are generally easy. It's the logic which you need to plan. Once you are clear of the logic, then writing formula will be much more easier. So here, if I look at the pattern, it is having first name dot second name, and after that I need to add @company.com. That's the format, right? @company.com. So if I have to write, it's very simple. I need to use concatenate. Okay, by the way, I can show you concatenate function also, like similar to ampersand. So how do we use concatenate? We can use concatenate. This is the function. It says, give me text 1, give me text 2, give me text 3 separated by commas, and I will combine all of them. So I'm trying to do this exercise using concatenate. It can be done using AND function also, but I'm trying to do it with an alternate function. Okay. So what do I need first? I need this cell. Then comma. What is the second portion in the email? The second portion is, look at this. The second portion is this dot, right? So here I need to add double quote, dot, close the double quote, right? So second portion is completed. Now it needs the surname or the family name, last name. So I can take it from here. Okay. But after that also I need to put some text. What is the text? Text is something like double quote @company.com. If it was my company, I would be putting something like datasense.com and close the double quote because this is the text which we want. So text will require starting and ending double quotes. And close. When I press enter, I'm getting james.mont@datasense.com. Now we forgot that our first name was having some issues at the like spaces. Sometimes spaces issues were here. So what we need to do whenever we are combining them, A5 and B5 are getting combined. So we should trim them. We should trim them. So I will say trim, open bracket and close bracket around the cell A5. So that will take care of all the spaces in the first name. Similarly, I will fix this part also. So I will say trim and close the parenthesis for trim. Clear so far? When I press enter, what do I get? Now I am getting the names without the spaces. Let's copy it down. So names are coming without the spaces because there were only two portions which were coming from the original data and they were having some problems with respect to the space and we have taken care of that. Now, Nidhi is saying the first name and last name should be in the lowercase also. Very good. So here, what we can say, this is the whole result, right? That's my full result. I can put this result inside which function? Lower function, open the bracket, and I need to close it after. And press enter. So James Bond, all in space, or all in small letters without spaces and joined with @datasense.com. So that's how we will solve the problem. Now, whenever someone looks at this formula, this might look a little bit complex to them at the first glance. So don't try to write the formula like this. Okay, always write it as you were solving it in the steps. So what were the steps? If I write it over here, the steps were simple. First, join. Then we realized, okay, there was a problem. So before the joining, maybe you can say trim the parts which you are joining. So trim then join. Then we said, okay, make the case lower. And in the joining part, there was one more thing to join. Add the last domain name. So there were three, four parts in the problem. And if you start solving one by one each problem, be it in one cell, be it in multiple cells, then you are good to go. You will not get confused and your solutions will be easier to type. The problem is people start typing it. People are just starting to learn and they start typing everything in one single place. See, your role is to solve the problem first. In one single column, in multiple columns, that is a secondary challenge for you. Initially, break it. Maybe you need four extra columns, no problem. But later on, once you get used to it, once you get hold of each and every functions separately, then try to combine all of them in one single place. I hope that's clear. Now, similarly, what you can do, what would be the formula? Can you guys tell me what would be the formula to get this result? Here we are using the initial letter of the first name and then remaining part is exactly same. What should we do? Yes, I'm looking for your responses. So we need the first letter from the first name. So I'm trying to show it over here because there's no point of repeating each and everything again. So look at this part. This is responsible for giving me my first name, first part of the email. Okay. Now, before we go over there, let me try to teach you this function. There is a function known as left. What is the role of this function? It takes some text. Let's say it takes some text from here. And then if you tell a particular number of characters, let's say we talk about 3 characters, then what it will give you? It will give you the first 3 characters or the left 3 characters from that particular cell. Very simple function that give me the original text wherever you want me to operate and give me the number of characters that you want to pull out, extract. So, and if you don't mention this part, if you don't mention this 3 part, by default, what it assumes, maybe you are looking for the first character only. So when I press enter, it gives me the J part. I hope now you are getting the idea how we are going to solve this problem. So if I follow this formula exactly same way, I'm copying it, escape to come out of the formula bar, and I'm copying it over here so that I don't need to write the full function again. Now this is the portion which is giving me, this is James without spaces. What I want to put over here, I want to put it inside left function. So I will say left and here close. And when I press enter, look at this. I did not change the ending part. I have only modified the starting part. And I've said that left of a particular text, if I don't mention the number of characters, it is giving me only first character, that is J. And that's how it solves the second challenge. Amazing. Can I see responses for all the people who are currently watching it live? If you are getting some value out of whatever we have discussed so far. Do you remember that keyword which we used to do in our chat? Mind blown, MB. Can you type MB if you liked so far? Okay, let me ask it other way. What was the new thing so far which you have learned in last, I think, 30 minutes? What is that one thing which is new to you? MB, Mohammad Asrar, Hemra, Mansoor, Ayub Khan, Maha, Nidhi, Jimmy, Nazir, Moin. Amazing. Kalpana also. Okay, let me move forward to the next problem. Let me clear this annotation. Okay, so left function was new to Ayub. Okay, okay. Yes, please keep mentioning what is new to you so that it becomes clear to us what kind of content we can plan for you going forward. Okay. So far, I have been using all of these formulas. Okay, fine, amazing. Now, currently, we need to extract some portion from this text. This is actually a combination of three things. One is the category of the product. Second thing is the code, the product code. And the third is country code. And we need to put all of them over here. So what do you think? How we can generate or how we can extract the country code US, UK, CN, EU, US, IN? How can we extract that part? Tim was new to Clementos. Okay, good. So how we can extract the country part? Anyone? So like we have left function, there is another function that is known as right function. Left operates from the left side and right works on the right side. So the function is right. Okay. What does it need? It needs a text. So I will take this text, comma. Then it is asking how many characters you are looking for. Now, looking at the pattern of all these cells, the country code is always 2 digit. So I will put 2 and press enter. And this right function is helping me very, very easily to get me the country code. Super easy, right? Left function we have seen. Left function gives from the initial side, starting side, beginning side. Right function gives us from the right end. How many characters? That we need to mention in the formula. So this part is done. What about the code? What about the code? Look at this 559010220884. How will you give it? Yes, we are only focusing on the formulas. We are only focusing on the formulas. Now, let me give you a hint. Okay. Left works on the left side, right works on the right side. Okay. There is one function which works in between also, and that function name is mid. Function name is mid. Let me show you an example first. How does it work? What we need is 5590, this portion, right? 5590. That's the portion which we need. Now, the text which is required in this formula, it is asking for a text. So this is the text, A4. Then it is asking, okay, I will start extraction, but because I'm not on the rightmost side or I'm not on the beginning side, where should I start the extraction process? That you need to feed. That you need to feed. So if I have to manually calculate where does this 5 come? So shirt is having 5 characters, then hyphen 6 characters, and then 5 is coming at the 7th position. So I need to mention over here 7. I need to mention over here 7. Clear? Comma. Then it is asking how many characters from the seventh character. So if I mention 4, that starting from the seventh character, give me 4 characters and press enter. So it gives me 5590. That's how the mid function works. It simply says which text to operate on, where to start, and then how many to pull. These are the 3 parts of the mid function. I hope this is clear. Now the problem here is that our formula, the code of the product is not always 4 digits. Another problem is my hyphen is not appearing at the 6th position always. It is 5, it is here, it is 4, okay, here it is 5th. So both the things are changing. Both the things are changing. So I know that 7 and 4 digits I need, but that's only valid for the first line. I'm not sure about the second line and the subsequent items. Okay, I'm not aware of the remaining items. So that's mid function. Now I need to know, because I'm not going to count where is hyphen and how many I need. So I'm not going to count that part. So what we need is we need a way to know where is hyphen. So let's remove this part and let's focus on only focusing on where. Let's only think about where is hyphen. So here, if I put equal, there's a function known as find. Find. Now, what it is asking? See, one thing which sometimes people say, okay, I don't remember when to put what. You don't need to remember. Always follow the text, helping text. It says you are finding a text. What is the text? Our text is hyphen. Then it is saying within which text you are finding. I am trying to find it in this text. I am trying to find it in this text. Press enter, and that is the 6th position. So let me insert one column just to let us know. Okay, where is my hyphen? I'm trying to find hyphen only. So it is equal find me hyphen where in this text, and that gives me the value. That's my hyphen. So one problem is solved. Type find in the chat if you are able to understand the find function. Okay. Now that part is resolved. Look at this. Equal mid function where in this text starting position. When should I start the extraction process? What was the starting point here? Shirt and hyphen. The hyphen is coming at the 6th position. And I need to start from the next character. So I will not use this hyphen position. I will say hyphen plus 1. I will say hyphen plus 1. That will be my starting point. Okay. Comma. How many characters? Let's manually put 4 characters for now. So one portion we are able to make it dynamic, right? One portion we are able to make it dynamic. And it is still giving me 5590. Now, up to what point we need this code? Can you tell me? Looking at the pattern, up to what point we need until the second hyphen. By default, the find function finds the first hyphen, starting from the left side toward the right side. Okay, so let me show you one more. Let's insert one more column. And I will put here second hyphen. I want to know where is my second hyphen, because that is also required. That will decide how many characters we need. So formula is simple, exactly same, equal find what? I need to find hyphen. Where? I need to find it in this cell. But if I leave it here itself, if I leave it here, it will give me same position, sixth. It will give me same position, sixth. So look at the next portion. What it is saying is, what is the starting position after which, from which position I should start finding the hyphen? From which position I should start finding hyphen? So when we don't mention it, it start looking for hyphen from the beginning. But what if I say that I don't need to find hyphen until sixth? Start finding it after seventh. So then it will ignore the first hyphen, right? So what I will say, I will use the previous hyphen over here and I will say +1, because previous one should not be considered. So I'm saying that up to that portion, no need to find. After that only start finding it. So the search position I have modified. By default, it is from the beginning, but now I have modified it. And when I press enter, look at this. It is not giving me 6. If this portion is not there, it gives me 6. But if I say that please start finding hyphen after the previous hyphen, and how to mention that? Previous hyphen position +1, so that it will only look in the upcoming part. That's my second hyphen position. How many of you are clear about this part? I will tell you simpler things also, but how many of you are clear about this part? Type find in the chat box if you are able to understand the both variations of the find function. Finding the first hyphen, which was super easy, and finding the second hyphen. It's just a matter of putting a reference point that I don't need to look for that particular character until this position. Look for it after that position. Right? Now let's come back to our formula. We were saying that 4 characters we need. We need 4 characters. Right? We need actually between the 2 hyphens. How many we need? We need between the 2 hyphens. So rather than 4, can I say 11 minus 6? 11 minus 6. When I press enter, what it gives? 11 minus 6 is 5. Here we need 4 characters because it is counting that hyphen also, second hyphen. It is going up to that position because 11 represents that hyphen. So what we need to say? Not D4 minus C4, deduct 1 extra character because that was representing hyphen. And we are not looking for that additional hyphen. So we started with a simple mid function which text, where to start and how much. Then we modified where to start using the find function. We found one more find position for the hyphen. And we took the difference between them. Mathematically, we can easily identify how much we need. But now, once one formula is fixed, all of them will give us the correct formula. All of them will give us the correct formula. How many of you are clear? Type clear in the chat. Life is wonderful, clear. Why -1? So look at this. Uh, BG, BG work is 11 minus 6, because essentially we need the data between this hyphen. Let's zoom it out. We need the data. Just a minute. We need the data between this hyphen and this hyphen, right? So when we look at it, it looks simple. That minus this. But what is this? This is 11. But 11 is nothing but position of the hyphen. We want one letter before that. That's why -1. Okay, so this is 11, this is 6. 11 minus 6 includes the hyphen also. That's why we are subtracting one extra hyphen. We are subtracting one extra hyphen. So this portion, let's bring it in the center so that we can see it easily. Now, similar problem is there, and we need to find the category of the product, the shirt, the pants, the hat, shoes, and all. What should be the formula here? What should be the formula? And everything is in front of you. Whatever you would need is already in front of you. So look at this. What we need is shirt, the product. And the good part is that it is from the beginning. So whenever something is from the beginning, the easiest function is left function, because we need it from the beginning side, left side. Which text? What is the original text? This is the original text. How many characters? For the shirt, we need 5 characters. For the pant, we need 4 characters. For the hat, we need 3 characters. So it is changing the dimension, the length. So when we need 5, hyphen is at 6. When we need 4, hyphen is at 5. So don't you think that we can take the hyphen position? When I press enter, it gives me that extra hyphen, because it is until the position of the hyphen. So to make it without hyphen, I just need to say -1. Whatever is the hyphen, I don't need up to that point. I need one character less than that particular position. Yes, many of you were able to get it correctly. So here, that's the formula. That is the formula. So by now, what all functions we have covered? Can you put it in the chat? What all functions we have covered till now? The functions in itself are very simple. We need to frame a logic, how to combine multiple simple functions to solve our problem. That's the bigger challenge. And for that, Excel knowledge is not required. Your aptitude is required. Problem solving skill is required. Okay, great. Let's move to the exercise 5. Let's move to the exercise 5. Okay. Area code is required. And you can see area code here. 415. We don't need the first character. It is somewhere in between, not in the left side, not in the right side. So you can see this formula. I've already written it because now you can understand it. It is much more easier than the previous problems. So what we are saying, please take the text, and I want to start at the second position, not at the first position, because first position is the opening parenthesis, opening bracket. How many characters we need? 415, 212, 310. So we need 3 characters. So this problem is very, very simple because there is a uniformity in the original text. So I don't need to make it dynamic using the find function. I don't need to make it dynamic using the find function depending on the position and all. That's why the formula is simple. Now, what does this tell you? This tells you that whenever you are creating your structure, whenever, let's say, an IT person is implementing the ERPs, so maintain the structure. If the structure is not there, your formulas will be like this. Your formulas will actually involve all of these things. Look at this, how much work you have to do. But if you are structured in the original data, then formula is much more simple. So this is just to like give you a sense of how important it is to have the structure in the data. Clear? Okay, amazing. Now let's get into the section 6. Let's get into the section 6. So section 6 says I need to extract the department code. I need to extract the department code and I need to extract the hiring year. I hope all of you can do this. Let's clear the logics only. The logic is here. Department code is 2 letter. It is on the beginning side, so left function is required. IT, fin, marketing. Oh, here 3 letters. So now I need to keep something dynamic. I need to keep something dynamic. So let me also tell you, let me make your life a little bit simpler. But this function is not available in all the versions of Excel. This is available only in Office 365. The function name is what I need. I need before hyphen. So this function known as text before. The function name is text before. What is the original text? That's the original text. Comma. What is that delimiter? What is that delimiter? Delimiter means what is that identifier, that character where you want to stop? That's nothing but hyphen. And when I press enter, it gives me the results. Text before is new to me. Yes. And if you are using Office 365, these functions must be there in your Excel. So start using that. I intentionally showed you the pain which you may be going through, or maybe you were giving up totally that I don't want to do this. I don't understand that part. So first I made you understand that how to do it in any version of Excel. But if you have the latest version of Excel, which is Office 365, then we can make use of these functions text before, because Excel has realized that, okay, what you are going through, and then they started adding these functions in Office 365 version. Okay. So that's super easy formula for department. Now imagine that you want to go for text after hyphen. So there is a similar function which is saying text after in this cell. After what? After hyphen. So what will be the text after hyphen? HR and hyphen. So it will be 2022-1501. That will be the result, right? That is the result which we are getting. But we are not looking for this result. We are only looking for the year. But after getting this result, there are so many possibilities. There are so many possibilities. We can say, take this text and give me left 4 digits. We can say, take this text, take this text and give me text before the hyphen, right? Now there are so many possibilities once you get this result. So I will simply say left, how many characters in this? 4 characters, and that gives me my result. So two functions, these two functions, the ones which I have mentioned here, one is text before and text after. So they are working using, like they are also working with find function, but in the backend, we are not like worried about that part. Okay? We are not worried about that part. Now, after knowing these functions, maybe you can think of additional logics to figure out these things. 5590, this is what we were looking for, right? It is exactly the same problem here. Only thing is, here it is multiple, like length, 5 digits, 6 digits and all. So how would I get this formula again? Let's write it one more time. What should I write over here? I need 5590. So first, what I would type equal text after in this cell and comma hyphen. So that gives me 5590. But when I extract it for more items, it is having different kind of length. So I cannot say left 4 digits or left 5 digits because it is varying. So here the best approach would be, now in this portion I can say, can you give me text? Can you give me text before? So this is the original text. I would need text before this hyphen, right? So text before in this text, and now I can put hyphen. So text after is giving me later portion, and I am saying in that later portion, whatever is the result, give me the text before the hyphen. And that solves my dynamic problem in a simpler way. I am combining text before and text after to solve my complex problem. Yes, that's correct. Nested text after. Right? Let's move forward. Okay. What would be the... So what we need over here, let's first understand. We need the username. And the username comes after this portion is what we are looking for. That's the result which we are looking for. Okay. So I think now you can operate with the formula. The original formula can be something like this, where we are finding something and adding something and all. That's totally fine. Okay. That's the original approach if you don't have the Excel, the newer version of Excel. But let's go to the newer version of Excel. What is the identifier after which you can only find your result? What is that common thing? Which short decides, okay, that my required text will come after this or before that. User. Great. It's not just the user. Okay. Let's put over here equal text. What should I use? Before or after? Text after in this cell. Okay. Now, what is the delimiter? That means what point you should split it. So here you will type, some of you are saying user. User, if I use and press enter, look at this. It is giving me that slash also. So my delimiter should include the slash also, so that that is excluded from my output. Okay, that is excluded from my output. In this case, I cannot use only hyphen. Some people might be thinking hyphen, but because before that position, there are so many hyphens. So I cannot use, it will start much before that. So that's why user hyphen, user and this slash, that is required. And now I can say text before the remaining slash. Exactly, James, absolutely right. So once this is done, then I can say I would like to use text before. And see, if you are getting confused writing formula in this nested format, maybe you can go for one more column, no problem at all. Final result. And here I will type equal text before from this cell. Before what? Before the hyphen, and press enter. If you can write it in one cell, very good. If currently you are not able to digest multiple functions in one cell, no problem. Split the problems into 2, 3 parts and then have the results step by step. And later on, maybe you can hide this. What is the shortcut for hiding a column? Can anyone tell me? I will give you the recording to that person. Whoever can tell me what is the shortcut of hiding a particular column. Yes, the first one, the first person will get the recording of this. I don't say anyone. Okay. The shortcut is Control 0. Control 0 is the shortcut. It will hide the selected column. Okay. Control 0. Anyways, let's move to the exercise 8. Now you might have seen your credit cards, right? Your credit cards are there, and what companies do, your companies, your banks, they are trying to protect your credit card number from the scammers. I'm sure like these are all fake numbers, but by any chance, I hope it doesn't relate to any real person. Okay. But what I'm saying that we need to show the results like this. Only for last 4 digits. Because you might have seen that when uh, a customer service from this bank is talking to me, they generally ask last 6 digits or last 4 digits only, because they are also not aware of all the digits of your card, because they can misuse it. So how to represent it in this format? That's my original data. Okay, there might be some mistakes in the credit card, but card number is 4 digit multiplied by 4 times. Okay, 16 digits. Okay, so we will solve the problem thinking that it is a 16-digit card number. What should I do? Look at this. I need just the last 4 digits. And before that, I don't need to care what it is. So first, what do I need? Equal. Equal. What do I need to add? In the beginning, I need to add something like 4 stars, then maybe hyphen, then another 4 stars, then another hyphen, then another 4 stars, and then hyphen. So this is the portion which I need in the beginning, irrespective of what is the card number. And I need to join it with, what? Last four digits of the card. So I will say, write of this text, how many characters? Four characters, and close the parenthesis. Super easy, right? What happens that many people start thinking and focusing too much on the beginning portion of the card, that how can I get rid of it? It is changing. Think of the expected result. Only thing you need to focus on the last four digits. Rest is everything same, which we can supply it from our side. This text and this right portion. Having space in between the function without the double quotes will not impact the result of the function. Okay, these spaces I have added just for better clarity or better readability of the formula. They will not impact the result. Press enter. And that's how we mask the data. Okay, now let me give you this problem. In this scenario, what we need is not only the last four, we need the first three. And we need to hide the things in between. We need to hide the things in between. And I will look forward to your suggestions. What would you do in this scenario? Exercise number 9. Exercise number 9. What would be your solution? What would be your solution? I can see, guys, there are roughly 56, 57 people watching, and there are only 25 likes. So remaining 25 people, are you not liking? First is LAN. LAN, I don't see a reason to use LAN. Darsha, okay. I will not move forward after this exercise if I don't see the likes. Okay, so make sure whoever has not done it, please hit the like button and suggest your solution for the exercise number 9. Okay, connection is not stable. Is that the case, guys? There might be a syncing issue because when I speak, I look at the comments, there might be a delay a little bit. So that's why you might be thinking it is a connection issue, but it is actually the default delay which YouTube is having. It is stable. Okay, fine. So what would be your formula? Moin, Nidhi, Kamran, what would be your formula? Flash fill, guys, flash fill. No, flash fill is for weak-hearted people. You need to learn formulas. Formulas are something which are always working for you. So you want someone who works when you are there, that kind of employee, or someone who is working whether you are there or not there. As long as Office is on, that Excel file is open, they are working. Okay. Life is Wonderful is giving us some results. Very good. So there is a particular thing. So first thing is what we can do. We can take the left three characters. We can take the right four characters, and in between we can join dash, four stars, and dash. That's one approach. That's one approach, right? Left three, right four, in between whatever characters we want. That's also a good approach. Okay. So what I will do, I will introduce you to one more function. The function name is replace. I think one person, who was that person? Life is Wonderful. He mentioned that function already. Okay. So replace function, what it says, what is the old text? Old text is this. Then it says, what is the starting number from where you want to replace some characters? I want to replace from which position? So 555 and hyphen. I want to retain that part. And after that only, I need to start. So I want to start from the fifth position. I want to start from the fifth position. Replacement process should start from the fifth position. Then it is asking the number of characters which you want to replace. So if this is the text, the just a minute here, what I need to replace 0199, that means 4 characters only, right? 0199. So I will be typing 4 characters. That starting from fifth position, replace 4 characters. So, okay, I will replace, but what should I use in the replacement? Like I will take away the original characters, but I need to put something. Okay, so that something is nothing but double quote and 4 stars and close the bracket. So what we are saying in the original text, start from the fifth position and take away 4 characters and put this in place of them. That's the result. So those who are thinking left and right and in between these characters, that is also fine. This is one more solution for that. Okay. This doesn't care what was there in those 4 characters. It will simply take them away and insert what you have provided. Okay. Amazing. So that's our solution number 9. Exercise number 10. How can you extract the domain name? How can you extract the domain name? Life is wonderful. What is your real name? Okay. So how can you extract the domain name? Domain name comes after this symbol. So what we can do? We can say equal which function? We don't know how many characters will be there because domain can be data sense, domain can be Gmail, domain can be Yahoo, Hotmail.com. So we need to use text after text after. In this text, delimiter is @ this must be there in your email, and then hit enter. Okay. I'm already on your advanced Power BI and AI program. So then why do you worry? Everything will be there. But what's your name? I would like to know your name. Okay. Gmail.com, company.uk.com, something like that. Everything came because of this function. Now your assignment is what will be the alternate solution if you don't have text after for this? Saif ji, how are you? How is the weather in UK? Good. So you need to do it without text after. Okay. Think whatever is required, that is already there with us. Yeah, I know my students. Majority of my students who interact with me, I know their name. Okay, great. So here, let me give you. First thing is we need to find at the rate, right? Where is at the rate? How can you find? Let me give you one more function to find something. The function name is search. Function name is search. What you are finding? We are finding at the rate. Who can tell me the difference between search and find function? So find at the rate within which text? Within this text. This also gives me that at the rate is at 11th position. At the rate is at 11th position. So we got that part. Okay. Now, once 11 is there, I can say that I can use right function. I can use right function because the domain name comes on the ending side, right side. Right function where? On this text. Fine. Now what to put in that part? Who can tell me? What should I put on how many characters? That's the challenge. You have to imagine you don't have text after, text before function. Right function is required because we need the ending side. And now Nidhi is saying D5 minus 1. Nidhi, look at this. D5 minus 1. 11 is the position until at the rate. If you deduct minus 1 out of that, this length will come, which may not be equal to your domain name length. Right? So what you need to do, the total length, and we don't want until 11th, until at the rate. So it should be len of this text, len b5 minus d5, len b5 minus d5. Why? Look at this. This portion is 11 characters. And this portion, wait, is your total length. You need to take the difference between green and the red. Total length minus wherever is at the rate coming. So that's why this portion, total length minus up to the at the rate position. That's it. Press enter. And that also gives me the same result. Not very complex. It's just that I have used whatever simple functions which we have seen so far. Okay. If we were looking for the username, then you are right. D5 minus 1. Because then we need the initial portion. But then we don't need to use right function. We would have used left function. Okay. Chalo, let's move to the next one. I think now you are able to solve this portion also. You are able to solve how can I get the file name without the extension of the file, the type of the file, the Excel file, the PDF, docs, XLSM, all those things. I am not interested. I am interested only in the original name of the file. So here we can use the logic which Nidhi Joseph has mentioned just now. Only thing is left function would be used. Find the dot that will tell you where to stop, because that will define the before and after side of that. You can use text before dot. That's super simple. Here, equal text before, on which text? On this text. What is delimiter? Delimiter is nothing but this dot. And rest is super easy. Okay? Rest is super easy. Okay. Now, how many of you can handle these kind of issues? Because these will come in real life, okay? Till now, it was related to the preparation part, the cleaning part, the extraction part. Now, imagine that when you are downloading the data from an ERP, a system, here we are having these numbers. Maybe it is coming from an Indian system, so it is having that lakhs and all. 1,90,000 or 190,000. That is the real number. So this is the real number. But if this is given and you are trying to add it, you are not able to tell what is my total, whatever it is, sales or something. It is only giving you the count because it is having some problems. Now, what is the problem? Can you see? Can you identify the problem and put it in the chat? Can you identify the problem and put it in the chat? What is the challenge here? Both the numbers are looking more or less same. The challenge is text format, okay? Now, when I select this particular cell, look at the number. When I select this cell, because these are addable, they are giving me the total. When I select this cell, look at the number. So when something is really a number, it doesn't include the comma formatting. Decimals are okay if they are important. Like here, this number has decimals, so that decimal part will come. But the comma formatting is an additional layer. It is not in the original data. While in this case, the comma is also visible in the formula bar. That means it is there in the content of that cell. And comma should not be part of the numbers. It is just a way of looking at it. Okay, it is just a way of looking at it. So first we need to get rid of the comma. How to get rid of the comma? Watch here. Has it only frozen for me? I think it's working fine. Anyone else who can mention if you are able to see, or whatever I am saying, everything is clear, or my screen is frozen, or my video is also frozen. Audio, video, screen, all three are good or not? Type AVS, guys. Clear. Okay. So here, so first thing is we will get rid of the comma. So I will take a function known as substitute. The role of substitute function is take something and replace it with something else. It is similar to replace function, but there is a difference. There's a minor difference. Okay. So here we are saying substitute text. Okay. So this is the original text. What is the old text which you want to replace? What is the old text which is creating the issue? So that I will put as comma. So that's my old text. Okay. Then it is asking, what do you want to replace it with? New text. New text. So after taking away comma, do you want anything over there? Nothing. So how to put nothing or blank? Just two double quotes without anything in between. And when I press enter, it gives me this data set. So comma has gone from the original text. But does it give your total? It is not giving me total. Substitute function takes an input of a text and it gives the input as a text. So although the problem of comma or the comma is taken away, but the format of the result is still text. So all you need to do is a simple thing. You can take value function on this text that gives you your number. When I put value function on a particular text, what is the role of value function? Value function says, I will try to convert it into a number if it is technically possible. If you are giving alphabets and then you ask me to convert it into a number, obviously it is not possible. But if it is just a formatting issue, then I can take care of it. So if I select all these cells, you can see the addition is possible, the average is possible, counting is also possible, because value is converting the text formatted number into real number. So I can put it in one single column, value function before substitute, whatever we got earlier, just putting that inside the value function. And then that's my number. After that, whichever way you want to format, that's totally up to you. You want to bring comma, you want to get rid of the decimals and all those things are possible. So here, like I want to go for comma and two decimals. So you can see this is exactly what we were looking for, the expected result. So it's a simple substitute function which takes away something and then replaces it with something else based on your direction. And value function is converting a number into the numerical form so that calculations are possible on that output. Clear? Now, there are two things which I want all of you to understand. Here we used substitute on comma. But the find function, I asked this question, what is the difference between find and search? Substitute. What is common between find and substitute? Find and substitute functions are case sensitive. Find and substitute functions are case sensitive. Let me give you an example. Let's say this is data sense. And I am saying find what? A in which text? In data sense. When I press enter, it gives me 2 because it is looking for small a. When I press and modify the formula with capital A, it gives me 4. So find function is case sensitive. Similarly, substitute function is also case sensitive. In case of comma, it doesn't matter. But if you would be using some text, then it would matter. Let's say if I type here that find me capital C in the data sense, it will give error because there is no capital C in this word. But in this case, if I remove this find and put it based on search and press enter, it will give you fifth position is the C. Uppercase or lowercase, I don't know, I don't care. Okay? Search function is not worrying about the case. Find function for find function and substitute function, it matters. So if you say that take away capital D out of this, substitute will work. If you say take small d out of this, small d is not there in this text, it will not work. So in some situations, it is helpful that, okay, we can use find, not search. If you don't know how the original text is there, whether it is small, sometimes maybe capital, and you don't want to worry about it, then go for search function. Okay, let's go to exercise 14. What we have is, these are the employees. Imagine your name over here. And these are the skills: Power BI, Excel, AI, whatever you are learning from us. And we want the result like this. All the skills in one single cell separated by comma. What should I use over here to get this? There are possibilities of 4 skills. Some of them are blanks. How to write a common formula? Have we done page 12? What was page 12? Yeah, page 12 now. Okay, we will discuss it. Okay, but I think whatever we have discussed before exercise 12, that can help you to generate it. But let me explain the part here, what you need to achieve. Okay, this is the invoice number and this is the date. This is the date. This is the invoice number. You need to generate this invoice number like this. So year portion and the invoice number in 5 digits, separated by hyphens and prefixed by INV. So that's the challenge. Okay, we'll come back to that if you are not able to solve it, but first focus on this part. I want to know what all skills are there for a particular person in one single cell in the same row. Okay, so concatenate is one function. How does concatenate function works? Or AND function, ampersand, we have also used that part. So concatenate is this function. It says give me text 1. Text 1 is this. Give me text 2. Text 2 is this. But in between them, I want to insert something, right? What is that thing? It is double quote, comma, space, and close the double quote. Right? So before the first skill, then second skill in between that comma and space. But after that, one more comma and space. After that, the third skill, and like that fourth. So that is the problem with the concatenate or the AND function. That if there are 12 things, imagine how many times you will have to insert the comma separator. And you need to select each things because you cannot select all of them together. Is the problem clear? That concatenate cannot be used in this case. It is very, very like efforts taking to use concatenate or AND function. And one more thing, let's say we are able to write the formula based on 4 items. In some situations, there is space. So we will see comma and then comma consecutively. Because there are only 2 skills for this person, Ravi Kumar. So we will see data cleaning, comma, then another comma because nothing is there, then DEX. So now let's come to again one very, very simple function that is known as text join. Text join function can like solve the problems which concatenate or the AND function were having. Okay, it says what do you want to put in between when you are joining. If you don't want to put anything in between, you can put double quote, double quote. But if you want something in between, you can put something like What should we put? Okay, comma. Let's use something else. Rather than comma, let me use a vertical line. Okay? Because comma is getting used in the formula also. So it is slightly confusing. So let's use a different character. So what do you want to put in between? It's vertical pipe. Then comes the next part. Do you want to ignore the empty cells in the range which you will provide? Now that's where things change. In earlier case, we were not sure which cell will be empty, which cell will be having the data. So we were including each and every skill in the formula, in the concatenator function or the AND function. Here we will say, yes, ignore the empty cell. Okay. Then it is asking, what is my text 1? What is my text 2? What is my text 3? You can separate them with comma. But the good part about this function is that I don't need to manually select this, comma, this, comma, this, comma, this. I can do that also, which is quite easy because in the concatenate function, I will always have to put this in between all the portions, all the different parts. But here, what I can say, rather than B4, comma, C4, comma, D4, comma, E4, I can select all of them combined together. So imagine there were 12 skills. I can select all 12 of them like this. Press enter and look at the output. Wherever there was only one skill, look at this, wherever there was only one skill and so many empty cells, it was not unnecessarily repeating that vertical delimiter. In the previous case, it would have repeated it. Right? So you can select the whole range. Again, this is a new function which may not be there in older Excels. So Office 365 must be having it. Now, thank you, Saf. Thank you so much. Last exercise. Last exercise is, imagine that you are having a lot of products, lot of items in your data, and they're all listed like this with multiple blank lines in between. Okay. Now what we want is this output is what we are looking for. This is the output which we are looking for. All items separated with comma delimiter. Right? Text join function is the solution here also. We don't need to mention one by one. You can select all of them again. Text join. Delimiter is comma. Okay, where is comma? This is comma. Do you want to ignore empty cells? Yes, I would like to ignore because there are so many empty cells in between. So true. And the range, what texts you want to combine, I will select all of them. If you feel that the data can come below this also, then rather than A26, maybe you can put up to A50 and you decide how much should be that range. Press enter, everything is there. Now, if you notice here that I am having comma and then the next word, there is no space. So readability is getting impacted. It's not that clear. So in the delimiter portion, what you can put comma followed by and space. So it will add that part also. So this was easy because we have seen it in the exercise 14. Now imagine that you need to do a reverse. You need to do a reverse. You need to split all of them. And you need to split it like this. You need to split it vertically or horizontally. Let's see the solution over here. There is a function known as, like the text join function is there. There is a similar function known as text split. Very, very important function. And it solves a lot of problems. It solves something which was never ever possible earlier. I will show you when we get the results. So generally, text split says, give me the original text. That's my original text, let's say. It is also asking, what is the delimiter? If you were to split it into the columns, what is the delimiter? So the delimiter is comma and space. So comma and space, both of them combined together, that's my separator. And if I close it over here, look at this. The result which it is giving is that we are writing the formula in one cell, but it is overflowing into the nearby empty cells. So that particular feature of Excel, or this is only possible in the array functions. These are all array functions. They generate the results and they can take over the nearby cells to occupy or to place the results. Okay. Sometimes it can give you error also. Let's say something was there in this cell by default. Let's say something was there randomly. So what it gives this error, spill error. What does it mean? It means that I am not having enough space. So there is not enough space to spill or to spread the full output. So that's when this error comes. So if nothing is obstructing its way, then it will populate. Otherwise, it will give you the error. Now, but I am not having enough space to keep it in different columns. So what we can do, this was the formula, right? Text is split, the original text, and this is the delimiter. But look at this. This is the delimiter in which position? It is the delimiter to decide the column separations. What if I say that there is nothing to separate in terms of column? That means I'm keeping it empty. I'm keeping this portion as empty, and the delimiter, I am mentioning it in the row delimiter. And now the result would be vertical. So the same function can split your text in the form of multiple columns. It can split your text in the form of so columns as well as the rows. Both are possible. And if you look at the other portions of this function, you can ignore those empty things and all. There are so many things additionally possible, but majorly you will use the first three components most of the time. Sometimes maybe one of them only, the delimiters. Rarely, maybe both the delimiters can be possible. Okay, let me give you one additional example. What if you are having flour and then we are having the sales of flour as 150. Sugar, the sales amount which we are having is something like 500. Everyone eats sugar. Eggs, not many people, like I am not that health conscious. So let's keep something like 75. Okay. So let me just copy this portion only, just to give you an idea, and put it over here. If this is the data set, it's very difficult to analyze, right? It is having the product and it is having the sales, the sale portion, and everything combined into one single cell. Now look at the beauty of this function. I can say text split text split on this text. Okay. Column delimiter. What is that like character or delimiter based on which you need to separate it into the columns? So there I will mention that colon is my column delimiter. What is the row delimiter? Based on which character you should split the rows. And here I will mention that comma is the row splitter. So my original text, this is the basis of generating the columns. This is the basis of generating the rows. And when I press enter, look at the data, which is a tabular data, and I can go for it and use it in pivot tables, in my formulas, and so many places, because this is not really workable. This is the beauty of this function, right? So that's known as text split. So now let's mention all the functions, whatever we have discussed so far. And I will briefly give you one-liner explanation of what that function does. So from the beginning until the end, whatever we have discussed. And I need the chat to be flooded with your messages. I can see 56 people are still watching. If you have not yet liked, please hit the like button. Okay. 29 people have liked out of 56. So another 25, 26 people might be there. And let's mention all the functions which we have mentioned so far. Hi, Prakash. Yeah. So we started with, initially we started with trim function, right? The role of trim function is to remove extra spaces. It will keep one in between the words. Otherwise, it will take care of everything else. Then we also used something related to cases. So that is upper function. It will make everything uppercase. Lower function, it will make everything lowercase. And there is proper function. Proper will keep the first letter of each word as capital, rest everything is small. So this was just to format the text. This was to remove the extra spaces. After that, we started with the extraction process. So we used the left function. We used right function to extract characters from the ending side. You just mention which text and how many characters. Trim, proper, upper, lower, okay. Mid function also you mentioned. Mid function works in between the text, not this end, not that end, somewhere in between. And if it has to work somewhere in between, you need to mention which position and then how many characters. Okay. Then sometimes to support where to extract, where is the extraction point and what is the boundary where we are splitting something, we need to use find function to find that position based on a character. And search function is also there. Find and search both are doing the same job. Only thing is find is case sensitive. Search is not case sensitive. There was one function which can support you sometimes is len. Len is giving you length of the text. Len is giving you length of the total text. It's a very simple function. Len, open bracket, give the original text and it will give you the total length. Length means not the alphabetical characters. It means every single character, be it space, hyphen, dot, numbers, alphabets, everything will be counted. Sometimes invisible things will also be counted. Okay. Then we also discussed text before this function, text after this function. There is no space in between. Just remember that. These two functions are possible only in Office 365 version. But they are able to simplify our formula writing, which were earlier dependent on multiple things like this. Then there was something known as text join and text split. Text joins multiple things. It can identify, like you can provide a delimiter or a separator in between, and you can also ignore the blank cells. This is the reverse. Text split can split into columns, into rows based on your delimiter or the separator, and it can also ignore. And the most important part of both these functions is that they can work on a range. You can simply give a combined range and it will take away, like it will combine all of them together. Okay, imagine that this was the formula and I need to know all the skills, whatever is here listed, whichever person, I don't care. What are the skills which people have learned? The text join function, I can provide that vertical pipe, ignore empty cells, that's fine, comma, text, I can simply give this whole range in one single cell. And that will give me everything combined, which was really a nightmare without this function. Okay, so having that range portion is biggest benefit for me. What else? Another function which we used is replace function. We used something known as substitute function. Substitute. We used, so replace function will take away, like it will work on a particular position. Is that cell? Yeah. It will work on a, but next one is there. Yeah. It will work on a particular position, how many characters, and then you can provide the alternate text which you want to insert. Okay. Substitute function is case sensitive function. It simply takes, it doesn't require any position. If it is there, it will take from that data. Like here, comma was there, we needed to take away comma and we were not giving any replacement. So it was able to do the job. Where it is coming, it doesn't matter. In the replace function, we need to mention from which point you need to replace. Then what else? I think concatenate is also there. Concatenate. These are older functions to combine text. And symbol, that is also very simple. When to decide and should be used or text join should be used or concatenate should be used? My rule is simple. If there are less number of portions, let's say I need to combine two, and is very easy to use. If there are three, four things, I may go for concatenate. And if you have the text join function, I will always go for text join function. Okay. Anything which I missed over here? Yes. Kamruddin is saying that in this exercise, when we have used all the things, okay, we could have used a unique function also. Unique will make sure that something is not getting repeated. So like this data cleaning is coming twice, multiple times data cleaning might be appearing, data cleaning and data cleaning. So we can take away that duplication by using unique. Okay. So maybe unique function can be used over here itself, unique, and I think we can close it over here. Now, no, unique function, maybe outside we will have to use. So we can design that formula. Okay. I've not used it a lot. So unique function, sort function, we can sort it alphabetically also. Unique function can remove the duplicates. So those things are possible. What about the file size when these functions are used over large data sets? See, obviously, every formula will increase the file size. Okay. So you need to decide how you can minimize the formulas. So I would say that rather than typing formulas in step-by-step manner, which is good for a beginner, new learner, because it's good for the clarity. But once I get hold of my formulas and understanding, I would write all these things in one single formula. So currently what is happening, I am generating two columns. The content of the two columns is adding to the size. And if these are 100,000 lines or 1 million rows, okay, which is almost reaching to the limit of the sheet, Excel sheet. So then it will really impact the position, the file size or performance. So minimize the number of columns. That's the only way. Uh, this is just one way of doing things. There can be, if it is one time job, maybe we don't go for formulas, we will use manual things to clean the data. Okay, we can go for Power Query also. So Power Query can minimize the file size, because whatever you need at the end will be kept, and the process will also be automated. We'll talk about it some other time, and many of you are coming from Power BI learning, so you are already aware of what Power Query can do. Power Query can be used in Excel also. Are there some formulas that increase the file size more than others? If you there can be many formulas, I don't know. Okay, but if you mention specifically, if you're comparing the two formulas, then I can comment on it rather than generally describing a formula. There are some dynamic functions, array functions, which are like, I remember there was one function, I forgot that function, but it's there in my mind. It was a range function. I will mention it later. I've not used it for a long time, but it was very useful function in the dynamic ranges. Okay. So that function generally creates an issue. We should avoid those kind of things. Again, if you mention the formulas, function names, then I can easily tell that part. Mid is there, find, search, left, text after len. Okay, good. Filter function, index function. Yes, those functions. We will discuss some other time. See, everything we cannot discuss in one go. We'll see when we can schedule this. And again, it all depends on what is your response, whether it was adding value to you. And then we will think of bringing these sessions more and more. We are also planning for like a Excel learning program. Okay. And we will update you whenever it starts. Probably it should start very soon. And it will be kind of a like continuous learning program, not one time boot camp of 5 sessions and all. It will be continuous, because what we have realized is that we use Excel more than Power BI, SQL, Python, or whatever you are doing. We use it much more than all the other tools. So people think that I have been using Excel for last 15 years, 20 years, but they don't know that Excel has been upgraded a lot. And their knowledge, because of lack of time or whatever is the reason, we don't tend to upgrade our skill set in the tool which we are using extensively. So that's why we will be like trying to like launch a continuous learning program, and we will update you whenever it's there. Let us know if you guys are interested in that. We will update you. Okay, we will be having a closed community for that. Some things we will be putting on the social media, so you can enjoy it for like free. You're truly welcome. Yes, Excel. So the idea would be that we will learn it in themes. Okay, maybe a couple of weeks or a month, we will only focus on the text function. We'll only focus on the lookup functions, maybe pivot tables, maybe date related functions, maybe Power Query. So a theme would be there, and then plus what we want to have is that's where the learning happens. You bring the problems, and then what are the different ways of solving those problems? Maybe that can be the real value. Because learning these functions standalone, I know that it is there in the portal, it is there on my YouTube channel also. Individually, so many, there are 600 videos on my YouTube channel. Start going through them. So much of value already there. But when we use those like functions to solve a problem, then it makes more sense. Because when you will face the problem, you will not face the problem. The problem doesn't say that, okay, you know only text functions, so let me come in the form of only text functions. Problem might require so many skill sets to be combined together to solve that. Okay. So that's why we will be having some themes, and we will be solving some problems without any theme. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I just joined the recordings. I don't know what my team has planned. Okay, they are aware of that. But thank you so much, guys. I think our 2 hours are over, and thank you so much. Some of you might be joining from a different time zone. Currently, it is 10 here in UA, but some of you are joining from your workplace also. So hats off to you, and thank you for your learning and uh, upgrading yourself always. And looking forward to have you in these sessions again and again. That's it. Thank you, Saif, Jimmy, Prakash, Sajir, Jabari. Okay, Kamaruddin. Thank you. Thank you. Amazing. Okay, guys, that's it. Bye bye. See you later.